There we go. Yo, everyone. Oh, wait, hold up. There, actually record now. You gotta be 10 seconds off, but man, whatever. Hello, everyone. I am Omega Zero.
And I am Late Night CJ, aka Sweet Daddy in the streets.
And are you actually going to participate, or are you just gonna sit here and eat popcorn?
Me.
No, I need a yes or a no. Huh? You don't know? Okay, then.
Cheese popcorn.
You get some popcorn, but don't jump in. And we are, I guess you can say this is more of a discussion episode again, because I've been trying to back my brain around certain ideas, and Late Night CJ proposed one, but that's going to be saved for, unfortunately, much later because of the topic.
Right.
It being like, have I ever been disappointed in a game? And
Well, you see why you telling the topic?
like, they don't have my current thoughts on it. Is the thing, and like that's just gonna come later because school and everything's been a pain in the butt for me.
What the hell is that?
This is just me recording Xenoverse. Like I said, I'm just
Who are other people?
it's a raid mission. Like, they're not real players. It's just computers. But the topic at hand is what you wanted to talk about, which was kind of funny, being, do controllers have too many buttons? Which is it's a weird topic for me because I'm someone who has grown up with like all the buttons being on the controller, where you have like a bunch of different face buttons, you have the right bumpers, you have the triggers. So it's not anything new to me, is the thing. But for Late Night CJ,
aka Sweet Daddy in the streets.
you want to explain your thoughts on it because you're the one who actually proposed
Okay.
the idea.
Now, please excuse me, I'm enjoying some good old popcorn here with my coffee. When I came in the game, long time ago, the first game I played, the controller was a joystick, literally a joystick, and one button. Okay? And the button,
No, I think that
Y'all
is
is
not
hard.
Atari.
and the button was basically attack. There was no variances in attack, it was just attack. Be it shoot, be it punch, whatever. Then it evolved into two buttons and a control pad. Now the control pad really wasn't a problem because, like I said, you have the two buttons, which was jump and attack, and the control pad, which is more or less just sliding your thumb different directions, which really did because you didn't have to think too much. One was movement, one was attack. There you have it. And then it morphed with the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis. Actually, I'll take the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. It morphed it. The Genesis had 3 buttons. And that morphed into 6 buttons because you have low attack, high attack, medium attack, hard attack. Right?
Street Fighter, yeah.
And Super Nintendo had 6 buttons. They have the 4 on the pad and 2 triggers on the top. Okay. Now we're going to the point where you got 4 bumpers, 2 triggers, 4 buttons, 2 analog sticks, and a directional pad. That's now not all connected. Directional pad's not all connected. It's literally 4 more buttons to go the different directions. That's too much. When you started from 1 button and a joystick to 4 bumpers, 2 triggers, 2 analog sticks, 4 attack buttons and 4 directional buttons. That's too much.
That's too much in your opinion. Granted, though, like I said before, I grew up on this type of button. Granted, it's not the first game I played. The first game I played was Super Mario World on the Game Boy, and that had 2 shoulder buttons, left button, right button, or left whatever. A, B, start, select, and there's 4 directional paths. So that in itself was not that hard for me to figure out, because it was just something I grew up on. And Mortal Kombat later, granted, it probably wasn't something I should be playing at like 4 or 5 years old in hindsight, but
When did I start playing Mortal Kombat?
too young. That's when. It's not something that I'm not unfamiliar with now, because that's just all the games I play. You use most of the buttons.
You said, can you pass the popcorn,
You
please?
stop eating all the popcorn. I barely got any. But that's more of a me thing than anything else. Whereas, like my little brothers, like they grew up on it as well, especially the youngest one that we have here with us.
I would say, since I'm the only one in this discussion that has gone through every era of the controller, for me, the Sega Genesis 6-button controller is the Mario of controllers. In my opinion, is the most universal. You got the top row are the upper attacks, like the head, and and the lower row are the lower attacks. And then each row, like say from left to right, is the least amount of damage to the most amount of damage. And if you wanted to throw somebody, you just had to hit both of the, or grab or throw, whatever it was, to press 2 buttons at the same time.
Yeah.
But when you start getting into 4 bumpers, 2 triggers, 2 analog sticks, 4 buttons, and 4 directional pad buttons, it's like, come on, man.
Oh, you would hate PC gaming then.
Well, PC games, because it used to be, okay, spacebar did one thing, A and S did another thing, L might do one, M might do one, Enter might do something else. And you just, once you develop muscle memory, it became a thing. And I'm pretty sure that's the same premise with all those controllers, but from somebody, it's like, for me, it's like going from basic arithmetic to algebra, and then from algebra to trig. You know what I mean? It's like the jump from Atari to the PlayStation 4 and 5 and Xbox One and 1S. That is significant. We went from a joystick and a button, and that one button did everything.
True.
You know what I mean? Everything.
Like, if you see on the gameplay I'm doing right now, I'm using both analog sticks. I'm barely using the D-pad. I'm using most of the face buttons. I am using like the left trigger, right trigger. I'm using the right bumper. I'm using most of all the buttons on this.
Exactly.
Oh, and speaking of controllers, the Wii U has the Wiimote, but was originally going to have just like a single circle. But then Mario and the people who make Mario and Zelda complained that people wouldn't be able to play their games on that. So they changed it to the Wiimote we have now.
Yeah, it looks like a big old chalkboard in your lap with a screen and buttons. Looks crazy. Looks like a security system.
Yeah, if we're being honest, if I'm thinking about the Wii U gamepad. But
The Wii was actually taken back to the essence with their controller.
they have 1, 2. They have the 1 button, the 2 button,
The original Wii.
The original Wii, yeah, I know. They have the 1 button, the 2 button, an A button, usually a pause, maybe a talk button.
Mm-hmm.
The
also,
plus
like,
and minus, a home button, power button, and like the B on the back of.
But
The
B
Wii
for
remote.
back.
all the games, for the most part, didn't require all those to be used in order to accomplish something. Certain games, yeah, but for the most part, like if you're playing tennis,
Okay, cool.
what would all those buttons ain't even necessary. If you're playing bowling, them games ain't even necessary. Or Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson requires like just the A button and the B button. Pretty much.
Exactly. And that's why I used to stop a mud hole in all y'all on the game.
Not really.
Bowling, tennis. Only reason why y'all used to give me a Michael Jackson is because, for those that don't know, I'm somewhat of a tall individual.
He is.
You're
So-
like over 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
He is a tall individual.
So, the range of the remote based upon my limbs, I would usually go out of range where it can't pick up from. So we be playing Michael Jackson, and I'm doing all the moves, and they got me standing still. Or I do the lift it up, and he lift his arm up and just stay up, because I'm out of the range. So, like I said, for me, and I'm putting this down as my vote as we start getting close to wrapping this up. The Sega Genesis 6-button controller, to me, is the all-time best controller for me.
Alright. Like, for me personally, I have no real preference because, like I said, I've grown up with this age and I've gone through a few different ones. So it doesn't really matter for me what controller I'm using unless it's really, really out there. Like, it did take me a while to get used to, like, the PlayStation 4 controller. That's because my younger brother, he's the one who plays it more often, and when I play on the PlayStation, it's like, show up, play for a little bit, and then I'm out.
Right.
I don't play it often enough like I do on the Xbox.
What the hell is that? Is that a hairless cat?
Yeah.
Yes.
And a rabbit?
No, that's his brother.
That's the fat cat.
A fat naked cat? Yikes!
Yeah, you're just reacting to the wallpapers that I have posted up on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of funny for me because I just, like I said, I play this game just for fun.
Absolutely. So what was your favorite controller if you had to pick one?
I don't have a favorite because, like, I could just get used to it. I'm like, yeah, let me figure out.
Well,
All right.
if you had to play all your games that you ever started with
on a single, like,
on a single controller, like this would be your default controller, what would it be?
probably an Xbox One controller because that's what I'm the most used to now.
For me, it would be.
Because, like, I don't have to use all the buttons to play a certain game. Is the thing.
What'd you say, Wallace?
For me, it's the Nintendo Pro controller.
Pro controller, what's that? Oh, for the Switch?
Yeah, he's talking about my Pro controller, by the way.
I'm talking about my Pro controller.
It's the same function. The only reason you have one is because you like using mine. And then Dad's like, alright, let's get you one because you like using mine. Because you got Joy-Con drift on your controllers. And you got them again recently, right? Like, you got
Joy-Con drill.
The controllers are messed up. They move out of place. And basically, since Six used them so often to play his games, and his games required a lot of high energy, high movement from him, they essentially just messed up over time because he overused them.
So, it's when, like, kind of dust gets under the controller's analog stick, and then that dust starts to make it move by itself.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that at this age because you use the controllers too much.
And
That could be for some people, could be for you, I don't know.
Let's
The way
just
it
say
happens-
that it's jacked up.
the
Yeah.
way it happens is by, like, dirt and ground getting under the analog stick.
Oh, so you're saying you're not a clean human being?
I am saying I would clean it.
No, you're not. You say you got dirt and grime.
I get sweaty when I play the games and get excited.
Oh, so you're a tryhard then.
Yes.
That's not really something you should take pride in.
Why?
Because a lot of people don't like tryhards.
Why?
What do you think is the reason why they don't?
Why?
Use your brain. You got one.
Because they try hard.
Yes, and most people don't like that because it makes them seem like they're trying way too hard in a thing that's supposed to be for fun, even if it's for.
But I like what Mario Maker 2 isn't. for fun. It's about winning.
I'm pretty sure most, if everyone, would disagree with you on that, but alright.
I agree. Yes, sir. Got this good old popcorn. So you said the Pro for the Switch.
Pro controller, yeah.
Robert Laura. I said I want the what you call it, the 6-button second generation. You know, I'm starting to believe that I'm looking like a dinosaur when it comes to all of this. Because I don't know if it's nostalgia or an unwillingness to adapt.
Probably nostalgia.
Maybe both.
I'm thinking it might be both. Sis.
Yeah, because you don't play the games as often as we do.
That is true. So I have to go with the road that's, you know, least travel, or least resistance, I should say. The road with least resistance when it comes to this, because I don't play with enough frequency to evolve at the same rate that you guys do. So an old reliable, matter of fact, look at it. I got the controller right here.
The PlayStation.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4 bumpers. What is the share options and all? That's, oh, look, 1, 2,
That's
3,
for
4.
online purposes, really.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 buttons and 2 analog
Let me
sticks.
check how much.
That is 16 functions on one controller. I proved my point. 16 functions on one controller. Bruh.
Like, if I get better at this, I will link in the
Wait,
pictures
1, 2,
of each of our
5,
ones.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
No. You can't count the analog sticks. Those are like two.
Those are not buttons.
Okay,
What about
then
them?
17.
7. That is too much.
2 of those buttons don't even really relate to gameplay.
What?
Well, 3 of them, really.
What?
Let me see. Maybe these buttons. These buttons don't really right here relate to gameplay.
Well,
in
you're
any shape.
finding the Bible. It shows me the full map, and then this one.
I
takes
said
pictures.
most games.
Oh, okay.
You can't
Well-
name one specific function in the one specific game you play with most
One
people.
is every. So you said how many? 17?
17
That is
total.
too much.
And
I started out with a joystick as one button. Even if we, okay, say we take that one out.
There is one button. that
One
I
button
can't
compared to
use.
16.
There is one button I can't use. in
But
that
to
one.
be
This
fair,
one, I don't know
like
what it does.
most of those
Just have to
games
see them.
at the beginning were extremely simple is the thing, right?
Does fire still cook?
Yes.
You don't have to come up with no new type of fire. You got fire. That
Blue
cooks.
fire.
Fire's
Don't matter,
still
still
fire.
cooks.
Blue fire is just hotter.
Just fire.
Blue fire is cooler.
They haven't came up with a new fire.
Blue fire is cooler, but not in the literal sense. It's hotter.
Ah, Jesus. Try Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Please don't try Jesus. All I need is one controller, one button.
Now you're just going over the top with this.
With Pac-Man, you can basically just play with a single analog stick.
I think I'm gonna make some nachos for lunch. Who dropping popcorn? You dropping? 6 is dropping popcorn.
All
Actually,
over the
I'm
place.
57 now. I'm just kidding.
Alright. Well, with that,
Mm-hmm.
I am Omega Zero.
I am Late Night CJ, aka Sweet Eddie, in the streets.
And we will catch you guys later.
I'm 6.